La Niña is part of a natural climate oscillation in the tropical Pacific. It oscillates between the warm El Niño phase, El Niño is Spanish for the boy, and the cold La Niña phase. So La Niña is like the cold little sister phase of this oscillation, and it's a purely natural event, occurs every few years as part of this natural oscillation. So during La Niña, the rainfall that normally falls out over the Pacific shifts west over Indonesia and indeed northern and eastern parts of Australia. So the fact that there's been lots of flooding in Queensland recently is very consistent with the occurrence of a near-record La Niña this year. So La Niña affects weather patterns throughout the globe. But of course, the further away you are from the La Niña, the more difficult it is to pinpoint the effects. It's a bit like waving a long stick. The uncertainty grows the further away you are from the source. And so when we look at remoter regions like Brazil or Sri Lanka, it's more difficult to attribute the recent flooding events to La Niña. If we take the Brazil case, then when we look in historical records and in our climate models, then southern parts of Brazil are actually dry during La Niña. So it would be difficult to attribute the recent flooding near Rio to the La Niña that's going on at the moment. If you go to Sri Lanka, that is a little bit more complicated, a little bit less clear, because it's right on the edge of the wet influence from La Niña. But again, historically, it looks like La Niña tends to drive drier conditions in Sri Lanka. So the previous biggest event, or the biggest on record, in fact, in 1974, Sri Lanka was actually dry. La Niña, El Niño cycles have been going on for a very long time. They're natural cycles. They're part of a natural oscillation in the Pacific. And indeed, when we run our climate models into the future with increasing levels of greenhouse gases, then there are no consistent changes in the El Niño-La Niña cycle.